I probably don't need to explain what Google's Gemini CLI is if you've been dabbling in the AI space. But what I haven't seen is anyone actually tracking their usage of Google's Gemini CLI. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do that using OpenTelemetry. Let's get to it. First thing you're going to need, obviously, is Gemini CLI installed. So if you don't have it installed already, go ahead and go to GeminiCLI.com and install it with npm. And once it's installed, I'm going to walk you through this telemetry doc. It is very well documented, and actually there are a lot of logs and a lot of metrics that we can pull, but don't worry, I'm going to walk us through all of it. The first thing you're going to need is a file in a folder called .gemini. So go ahead and create a folder called .gemini, and inside that folder create a file called settings.json. Populate it with this content here, which, as you can probably guess, enables the telemetry. And then you set the target of the telemetry. So think about the telemetry coming out of the CLI. It needs to go somewhere. The two choices are Google Cloud or local. And here local means a collector. So we are going to send this telemetry to a collector. So set that to local, and we are going to use an OpenTelemetry collector. Now, by default, the instructions give us gRPC. It's up to you if you want to use gRPC or HTTP. If you don't know the difference, don't worry. It won't matter if you don't know the difference. So I'm going to leave it as gRPC. So that's my OTLP protocol. And of course, 4317 is the gRPC port by convention for the collector. And we haven't started the collector yet, but we will in a moment. I'll show you that, don't worry. And we're going to log out the prompt. So whatever I send to Gemini, yes, I want to log that out and be able to use it. Next, we're going to configure the collector because, as I say, Gemini is going to send it to a collector, so we need the collector running first. So first thing you'll need is the OTLP receiver, and as you can see, it's listening on gRPC. So the CLI, Gemini, is going to connect to the collector and stream metrics using the gRPC protocol. Obviously, that will need to be HTTP if you've chosen to use HTTP. I have one exporter at the moment, which is debug, and I've set the verbosity to detailed, again, just for this video. Don't do this in production. It's too verbose, as the name suggests, especially for production. There's too much going on there. And then I've set up my pipelines, because remember, the top part of this is just potentially what you can use. We don't actually wire everything together and get any results from the collector until we wire it together with these pipelines. So we've built 3 pipelines, one for metrics, one for logs, one for traces. We're going to, on all 3, receive data using OTLP, and we're going to export the data from all 3 using to debug, which basically is going to dump it to the console down here. But I actually want to use a proper observability backend. So for that, as always, I'm going to use OpenObserve. I'm going to start up my observability system now. And with any luck, I've got some old data here, so you won't have any streams or any data in the top here. I've got some old data. But you need to go to Data Sources and then Custom. Go to OTel Collector and pick whichever block of code. If you're using gRPC, it's the bottom one here. So just click this little copy button and go back to the collector config and paste this under exporters. And don't forget that it comes with this exporters line as well, so just delete that. And then to actually use this exporter, we need to add it to our exporters in the pipelines. So just do a comma and paste it in for each of those. So what this means now is the telemetry, metrics, logs, and traces that are received to the collector from Gemini are going to be sent to both debug and OpenObserve. So with that, it's time to start the collector, and you do that by passing it the binary name and then the --config file and the path to the YAML file that you've just saved. Again, all of the files are in the video description below if you get lost. Collector is now running. So the collector and the back end are sitting waiting for some data. So now it's time to start Gemini. And let's give it a query. Give me 3 benefits of cycling. Now the first thing I want to check or know about or monitor in real time is this time here, this 4 seconds, 5 seconds, 7, 8, 9, because this is the time that I can report to my boss that in a day, if I add all of that up, I've sat doing nothing waiting for Gemini to come back. Okay, I've got a response, and if I have a look at my collector, I should start to see all sorts of stuff piling through the collector here. So what that's proven to me is that the data is now getting to the collector. So let's jump into our observability backend, open observe, and see what we can see. Okay, let's start with the logs. So if you go back to the home page, you'll now see some data streams. Click view more, and then go to the little what's the thing called? The eyedropper. And you'll see all of the logs that have happened. And you'll notice there's durations in these logs, and they're nice JSON logs, so we can parse them out. So let's go in here and say duration milliseconds. And you'll notice some of the logs have a duration next to them. I can flick this across to SQL and say select star from default where duration milliseconds is greater than 0, and that will give me the logs only for duration milliseconds. Then I can go flick this to a chart view, and on the x-axis I have timestamp, and on the y-axis I want to sum up the duration, and I don't want to filter by anything. And then, so here is the time that I've been waiting for Gemini. So here I created a dashboard, and it's basically just parsing those logs, and it's a sum of that time. So in the past 15 minutes, I've spent 22.65 seconds waiting for Gemini. Now, of course, there's all the other information in the logs, like what was the prompt, what was the return, what's the context window length. You can measure all of that. But we can also see metrics. So if I go to metrics, my API request count, request latency buckets, counts. You can even see how many times Gemini has operated on files, the model routing, latency and decisions, the session counts, the token usage, the total call count of tools. But there's all sorts of metrics in here. Call, client operation duration count, client token usage count, token usage bucket, etc., etc. But there you go. That's how easy it is to get observability of your Gemini CLI usage using OpenTelemetry and the OpenTelemetry collector. Hope this has been fun, helpful. Click like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you very soon for more OpenTelemetry and observability content. Until next time, stay safe. Bye.